From humanity's earliest stirrings, long before cities rose or words were written, a profound mystery began to unfold. It whispers from ancient caves, echoes from silent tombs. For millennia, humanity has been obsessed with what lies beyond, a persistent belief that death is not the end, but merely a doorway. But what if this conviction, this unwavering faith in an afterlife, wasn't just a byproduct of our existence, but a driving force behind it? What if the echoes of the departed built the foundations of our world? Prepare yourselves, because this tale of astonishing implications challenges everything you thought you knew about human civilization. Imagine the flickering firelight barely pushing back the impenetrable darkness of a prehistoric cave. Not 5,000 years ago, not even 10,000, but tens, even hundreds of thousands of years in the past. Here, in the chilling embrace of the primordial world, walked beings who, by most definitions, were not yet us. Early hominids, Neanderthals, Homo erectus. Brutal, challenging lives they led, constantly struggling for survival against colossal predators and unforgiving elements. Every day was a fight, every loss a stark reminder of their fragile mortality. Yet, amidst this raw, visceral existence, something truly remarkable, truly bizarre began to emerge. It began with death. When a member of their small band perished, these early humans didn't simply abandon the body. No, something stirred within them. A primitive empathy, a burgeoning spiritual flicker. We find astonishingly preserved evidence of deliberate internment, bodies carefully laid to rest, sometimes in fetal positions, as if in slumber. This wasn't merely practical, it was profound. It signaled a radical departure from the purely instinctual, a cognitive leap so immense it's almost unfathomable. These weren't just corpses, they were the departed. And the departed needed care. But the absurdity doesn't stop there. With these burials came offerings. Oh, the offering. Simple, yes, but breathtaking in their implications. Flint tools, painstakingly chipped, perhaps meant to aid the deceased in some unseen hunt. Animal bones carefully placed, sustenance for a journey unknown. Shells, worn smooth, jewelry for a realm beyond. And then the ochre, the vibrant red pigment sprinkled over remains, staining the earth, perhaps symbolizing blood, life, or rebirth. It wasn't about practical use in this world. It was about the profound belief these objects served a purpose in another. These weren't random acts. They were rituals, repeated, refined, passed down, suggesting a shared understanding of an afterlife journey. This wasn't just about grief. It was about foresight, a conceptualization of existence beyond the tangible. Can you truly grasp the magnitude? In a world dominated by raw survival, these beings were already crafting complex narratives of eternity. They were dedicating precious resources, time and energy, vital for survival, not to securing their next meal, but to honoring the invisible dead. They were investing in an unseen world, a fantastical realm. It's utterly astounding. This earliest glimmer of ritual, of a spiritual understanding of death, laid the groundwork for everything that followed. It sculpted our fears, ignited our hopes, and perhaps, more than any other factor, began to shape the very architecture of our civilization. From these dark, echoing caves, where the first embers of spiritual belief flickered, began the monumental task of building a world for the dead, a world that would, in turn, define the living. From the flickering firelight of prehistoric caves, where the first tentative gestures towards an afterlife were made, something truly monumental, truly unfathomable, emerged along the fertile banks of the Nile. The whispers of the departed transformed into a thunderous, unwavering command that would shape an entire civilization. Welcome to ancient Egypt, a realm so utterly captivated by eternity that it literally built its world as a gateway to the next. Imagine, if you can, a society not merely believing in an afterlife, but designing its entire existence around it. For the Egyptians, death was not an end, but the ultimate transition, a perilous journey culminating in eternal glory. And who better to guide this journey than the pharaoh, a living god whose successful passage guaranteed the prosperity of the entire kingdom. Their immortality wasn't just personal, it was national, cosmic. This wasn't merely faith, it was an architectural, economic, and spiritual imperative that bordered on the utterly bizarre in its scale and ambition. Consider the pyramids, those colossal, impossibly perfect geometric mountains piercing the desert sky. They weren't just tombs, they were sophisticated machines of ascension, monumental stairways to the stars, crafted for the divine pharaoh to rejoin the gods. Each limestone block, weighing tons, was quarried, transported, and meticulously placed by tens of thousands of laborers, not for earthly reward, but for the sacred purpose of securing eternal life for their ruler. Each limestone block, weighing tons, was quarried, transported, and meticulously placed by tens of thousands of laborers, not for earthly reward, but for the sacred purpose of securing eternal life for their ruler. Can you truly wrap your mind around such a singular, staggering dedication of human effort? Entire lives were spent moving stones for an unseen king in an unseen realm. And the rituals, the astonishing process of mummification, a macabre ballet performed over 70 days, every organ meticulously removed, the brain extracted through the nose, and the body carefully dried with natron salts, then meticulously wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen. The body carefully dried with natron salts, then meticulously wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen. This wasn't just preservation, it was an act of profound, unwavering faith that the physical vessel was essential for the Ka, life force, and Ba, personality, to recognize and re-inhabit in the afterlife. The sheer audacity to believe you could defy decay, literally preserve a body for thousands of years to ensure eternal consciousness, it's a breathtaking testament to their conviction. But the obsession continued beyond the body. Within these monumental tombs, every aspect of earthly life was recreated, made ready for the pharaoh's eternal needs. Exquisite jewelry, meticulously crafted furniture, vast stores of food and drink, even chariots and boats, all entombed to accompany the deceased on their journey. Walls adorned with vibrant hieroglyphics and paintings depicting daily life,
religious scenes, and protective spells. An entire replica of existence constructed underground, awaiting a spirit's return. It was an administration for the dead on a scale that beggars belief.
And there, standing sentinel for millennia, the great Sphinx, a mythical beast with the body of a lion and the head of a human, perhaps Pharaoh Khafre himself, guarding the sacred necropolis, an eternal guardian against the forces of chaos, watching over the pharaoh's eternal slumber and divine awakening. The entire Egyptian worldview, their art, their science, their governance, their very identity was inextricably woven with their perception of the afterlife.
Their art, their science, their governance, their very identity was inextricably woven with their perception of the afterlife. Their greatest architectural achievements, their most complex rituals, their most valuable resources, all poured into securing passage to an unseen realm. It wasn't just a belief, it was the bedrock of their civilization, a relentless, truly astounding pursuit of eternity that left behind an indelible mark on human history, a mark that still whispers of its wonder and its bewildering ambition today. The colossal monuments of Egypt scream one undeniable truth. The afterlife wasn't just part of their world, it was their world, built for the dead, by the living, with an incomprehensible devotion. From the dazzling sun-baked plains of Egypt, where pyramids pierced the sky as monumental stairways to the gods, our journey now plunges into a starkly different realm, the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia. Here, amidst the towering ziggurats and bustling city-states, humanity's relationship with the afterlife was painted not in brilliant gold and vibrant frescoes, but in the muted, somber tones of dust and despair. If the Egyptians embraced eternity with an almost manic optimism, the Mesopotamians faced it with a profound, almost resigned dread. Imagine leaving the land of pharaohs, where every fiber of society was dedicated to eternal glory, and stepping into a world where death offered no such promise. For the Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians, the afterlife was not a vibrant continuation, nor a heroic ascent. It was quite simply the land of no return, Kur-Nugia. A shadowy, dusty realm beneath the earth, ruled by the terrifying Balis Ereshkigal, a place where all souls, regardless of their earthly deeds, shared the same dreary, monotonous fate. They imagined a vast, gloomy house filled with dust, where the inhabitants wore feathers like birds, sustained only by clay and dust. The revered epic of Gilgamesh, humanity's oldest surviving literary work, vividly portrays this terrifying vision through Enkidu's dream. The house which none leaves who enters it, the road from which there is no return, the house whose dwellers are deprived of light, where their food is dust and their drink is clay. Can you conceive of a more utterly soul-crushing vision of what awaits beyond the veil? It beggars belief that cultures so rich in innovation and earthly achievement harbored such a bleak, terrifying conception of eternity. This chilling perspective profoundly reshaped their priorities. Unlike the Egyptians, whose every monumental endeavor was a testament to the afterlife, the Mesopotamians poured their energies into this life, into the here and now. Their ziggurats, those massive stepped temple towers dominating the urban landscape, were not primarily tombs or gateways for the dead. Instead, they were earthly mountains, reaching skyward, dedicated to their powerful, often capricious gods, a way to bridge the gap between mortal and divine in this world, to ensure prosperity and favor before death. Their rulers, rather than preparing for divine ascension, focused on leaving an indelible mark on the earth. They built magnificent temples, formidable city walls, vast irrigation systems, and established intricate legal codes like Hammurabi's, all to secure their legacy in the annals of human history, to be remembered by the living. Immortality was achieved not through mummification and lavish tomb offerings, but through monumental architecture, military conquest, and, crucially, through the enduring power of their names written on clay tablets, a form of earthly remembrance, a defiant stand against the oblivion of Kor. The elaborate funerary practices of Egypt, meant to safeguard the body for eternal life, found little resonance here. Mesopotamian burials were far simpler, often just a body wrapped in a mat or placed in a clay coffin, interred with a few personal possessions, perhaps to stave off immediate hunger or thirst in the underworld, but with no grand illusions of resurrection or divine transformation. The contrast is astounding. One civilization, fueled by a radiant hope for the afterlife, constructing wonders to facilitate a glorious transition. The other, burdened by the certainty of a desolate land of no return, directing its genius towards making its present existence as meaningful and enduring as possible. Their shadows, cast long across the ancient world, remind us that the human response to mortality is as varied and complex as humanity itself, a testament to how even the most brilliant minds could conceive of an eternity so utterly devoid of hope. It makes you wonder, if the Egyptians built for the dead, did the Mesopotamians build despite them? From the definitive eternal judgments of the Abrahamic traditions, where a singular life dictated an everlasting fate, we now pivot dramatically to a worldview of astonishing fluidity and interconnectedness, the Eastern promise of rebirth. Prepare yourselves, for we are about to journey into a conceptual universe so profoundly different, so bewilderingly intricate, it will make your very understanding of existence ripple. Where Western faiths offered a linear path to a fixed destination, Eastern philosophies unveiled an endless cycle, a cosmic dance of birth, death, and reincarnation that has shaped civilizations for millennia. The sheer audacity of suggesting that everything is fleeting, yet eternally recurring, that your present life is merely a single breath in an infinite exhale of cosmic existence, is nothing short of mind-boggling. Imagine a spiritual architecture built not on a grand reckoning, but on an intricate web of cause and effect, where every action, every thought, every nuance of your being karmically dictates your next incarnation. This isn't just a belief. It's the very bedrock of existence in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. The concept of samsara, the wandering, the cyclical journey through innumerable lives, makes the Abrahamic single-life gamble seem almost quaint by comparison. Here, the stakes are not just one heaven or one hell, but potentially millions of rebirths across all forms of life, until ultimate liberation is achieved. It's an endless spiritual marathon, where patience is a virtue forged in the fires of cosmic repetition. In Hinduism, the soul, or Atman, is eternal, a fragment of the divine Brahman, endlessly traversing bodies until it achieves moksha, liberation from the cycle of samsara, and union with the ultimate reality. This profound yearning for release from the endless wheel is not about punishment or reward, but about the culmination of spiritual evolution. It shaped not just individual lives, but entire societies, manifesting in the intricate caste system, in daily rituals, and in breathtaking temple complexes like those in Khajuraho or Angkor Wat. Monuments not to a final judgment, but to the journey itself, often depicting cosmic cycles and divine narratives of creation and dissolution. Buddhism, while diverging from the Hindu concept of an eternal soul, still embraces the cyclical nature of existence. For Buddhists, the goal is nirvana, the cessation of suffering, the extinguishing of the self that fuels the cycle of rebirth. It's not a place, but a state of profound peace and understanding, achieved through diligent practice, meditation, and ethical living. The path to nirvana is one of self-mastery, understanding the impermanence of all things.
The serene, awe-inspiring stupas and pagodas, from Borobudur to Swayambhunath, aren't waiting for a final trumpet. They are tranquil beacons guiding practitioners along a path of liberation, representing the very enlightenment sought across countless lifetimes. This Eastern vision fundamentally redefines ambition, suffering, and purpose. It promotes compassion for all sentient beings, for who knows which life form a loved one might inhabit next. It grounds ethical conduct not in fear of a divine judge, but in the understanding that every action ripples through eternity, affecting your own future and the fabric of the universe. The sheer scale of this philosophical undertaking, the patience required to contemplate millions of lives, the profound sense of cosmic continuity presents an alternative to linear fate that is both humbling and utterly magnificent. It's an internal pilgrimage, a meticulous cultivation of spirit, echoing through the tranquil monasteries nestled in misty mountains, where monks dedicate entire lives to disentangling the threads of karma. This enduring legacy of rebirth is not just a belief system, it's a cosmic operating manual, teaching humanity that the true afterlife is not a destination, but the journey itself, endlessly unfolding.